problem.
Let's get down. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Show number 230, is it? Good Lord. Show number 226. Come on now. 220. When you count the bonus shows, it's well over 300 shows we've done. So good to see everybody on this Shout Out Sunday. I see the whole gang in there. Looking forward to today's show. I'm excited. Got an old friend coming on, and we're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk some old school American hardcore, you know, punk, folklore. It's going down. It's going down today on the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What's up, Darren? What's up, Victoria? Concrete Burial. You guys getting ready for the big show? Playing the Bowery Electric. Hey, Marla. How are you? How's things out? How's things out in Portland? You know, absolutely, Paulie. That clip that we saw was from Philly in 1984. Some government issue, smoking. Yeah, absolutely. You come to the right place. You know, Larry Kelly, what's up? What's going on, Mr. Wolf? You know, thanks, Rat. We had a great show on Friday for those that were there. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. That said, let's get right to it. Let's bring on the one, the only hardcore Shutterbug.
Hello. Up? You said that with a little Boston in you.
Hey, it's a hardcore Shutterbug. Did you park the car?
How are you?
People, sometimes people still think I'm from Boston, you know?
Well, you spent a lot of time there.
What do you mean a lot of time? I was there for not even 2 years.
And look what it did to you.
You get thanked on an SSD control record, and you can never get out from underneath that.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. You know? What's going on?
It's like 75 degrees outside.
Bro, we hung out last night in Huntington, Long Island.
That's right. 2 nights in a row. Yeah, 2 nights in a row. You know what? Last night, speaking of shout outs, because it is Shout Out Sunday, if I get my finger lined up there, there it is. Behind me is the book, Kristen Memoli's book, The Soul of All Things. Awesome. Our friend Kristen, wife of Tristan. Amazing book of urban exploration photos and words, and just a really cool event she had last night in Industry.
Yeah, we drove up from the city to show some support. Yo, let's see that new tattoo, bro.
Can you see it? Let's see if you can see that there. I line up the goddamn camera. There it is. I can't really get my hand around it, but
it's upside down.
Yeah. Let me do a handstand.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a Canon AE1, by the way. It It is the camera, my mom's favorite camera from the 70s and 80s.
I think I had a Canon AE.
I
had it. No, did Canon make a
sure shot? A1 as well.
Was there a sure shot? Canon sure shot?
The sure shot was a point and shoot. Yes.
I think I had that.
Great camera. I had one too. Great for sneaking into shows.
Anyway, let's do photo of the day. Everybody take a guess. Name this band. Here we go. Photo of the day. Boom. Name that band. Let's see what we got here.
That's John, Paul, George.
There are no wrong answers. And you know what I love about this band shot? You could tell who the drummer is, who the bass player is, and who the singer is. All right. Is it the Rams? Is it Lamb of God?
There you go. There you go.
Is it Slipknot? Is it Venom? Is it Typo Negative? Is it the Sheeps of Doom? Is it all right? And we have a winner. Is it Agnostic Front? Okay.
All I know is this band is definitely the GOAT right here. So
well, you could tell the singer's on the top left, right?
Yes.
And they got a sheep singing for him. Right?
Oh yeah. No, she's definitely the lead.
So they got a what's a female sheep? Is that a ewe? Or is that a
ewe? Yes, I believe that's a ewe. I believe you are correct.
Yeah, they got a ewe singing for them, who looks hard.
The funny thing about this, and I'm not even kidding, the gentleman in the top right, the
guitar player.
Yeah. His real name, and this is not my doing, his real name is David Bowie. And the gentleman on the bottom left, who's like brown and white, is David Gilmour.
That's the bass player. You could tell on the bottom right that forlorn look is the drummer, and that's the look of I should be singing for this band.
But he, yes, the girl, the caretaker told me that was their names, and
is it Sheep Terror?
Yeah. Well, we could have gone with Goat Whore, but that name's taken already.
Chupacabra. Yeah,
this was taken yesterday.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, word. You think Biohazard had that like the hardcore face, those tough guy pictures down? You think Biohazard got that look down? Forget it. Homegirl on the top left is like, you too. Good one. You too. Good one. All right.
These guys are great. Yeah, I took those yesterday, right around this time yesterday. Those are my people.
Let's just quickly, talk about this here.
Yes.
Tell us what's going on here. Let's just jump into this. What's going on here?
This is awesome. Adrenaline OD at the Bowery Electric the other night. They just put a book out called If It's Tuesday, This Must Be Walla Walla. Mm-hmm. And they got to play. It's the first time I ever got to see them. And it was so much fun. And it was Adrenaline OD, a band called Incendiary Device, and a band called The Fear Gods. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really good night. And the AOD guys were great. They were a lot of fun. And he's got an Old Lives Matter shirt on.
That's Dave, who wrote the book.
Yes.
Dave Scott Schwartzman, who
did a signing.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. In fact, one of my favorite parts of the night was the fact that the Fear Gods had the pointer with them.
Everybody has a pointer, and speaking of pointers, here's a shot that you took from our set. And I think this is sort of like, pointer of the week here in this
That'll
shot.
Be a new segment.
This is like big Tony Thomas.
He was feeling it. He loves you guys, man.
All right, man. We love him, man.
Yeah, he's good to have on our team,
You see who we got? Look, that's Johnny Stiff up there watching us play. Johnny Stiff up to the right. That's Alexa. That's Alexa Poli sitting there, and Big Tony Palmisano with the.
I see Astoria Lou there.
Oh yeah, Astoria Lou's on the stairs, right?
I see Ray Hogan.
Yeah, that's right.
And I love that big Bowery Electric mural they put up with Joey and
cool.
Debbie.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
Yeah, that was fun. You know what? That was a fun time. It was weird being at the Bowery Electric at like 10 o'clock at night these days.
It was tough for me, man. Like we were on stage at 9:20. That was tough for me, man.
You guys were great. And nice mountain song. Dropping the mountain song.
You know, we were dicking around in rehearsal the other day, and we've been playing these Minor Threat songs in the set for a long time. And those guys just went and saw Jane's Addiction, and they started playing it in rehearsal. And I was like, look, if you want to play it, I'll sing it. And so we played Jane's Addiction Mountain Song during the set.
Well, what bass player doesn't love that opening bass riff? Is so good, you know. But by the way, how did the Smashing Pumpkins headline over Jane's Addiction?
I don't know.
That's like some criminal mischief right there, because that band shouldn't even be in the same building with them.
I don't know about that, but
not a Billy Corgan.
You're not a big Billy Corgan fan?
Nah, he's just his voice is so aggravating.
You know, I saw them back in the day. They were
I liked the first 2-3 records, but he got under my skin real quick.
What do I know, bro?
Sorry.
What do I know? You know, I'm
like
a hardcore kid from Queens, man. Like that stuff, all that Smashing Pumpkins, Jane's Addiction, you know, it's kind of over my head, bro.
Jane's is great.
Ryan Bland from Ache says Jane's Addiction blew the Pumpkins away that night too.
As they should have. And that was without Dave Navarro, from what I heard.
Yeah, no, he's not playing.
Weird. Who played guitar for them?
I don't know. I guess Dave Navarro. What was his excuse? Was it exhaustion or like you know? Whenever someone says it's exhaustion, you know what that means? Cocaine. Whenever somebody says I can't go out and play the big arena shows, I'm suffering from exhaustion, equals cocaine.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But oh man.
Hey Ray, am I pronouncing that right? Hi Drew, new subscriber after that great Anthrax episode. Well, thank you.
That was a fun one.
It's a good one. You know,
that was a fun one.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, good.
Let's do it.
Let's do it to it. I'll talk to you in a bit. Hey, if you're around later, come back on when we get into his record collection.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that. I saw a little clip in the previews.
Oh, dude says it's dude from Queens of the Stone Age playing guitar with them.
Okay.
Right.
That's cool.
Thank you,
sir.
Bomb. All right. I'll talk to you in a bit.
I'll be back.
Shut up, you freak. All right. Talk to you in a bit.
Later.
Well, there you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, and 126 Hardcore Clothing. It's a streetwear brand for restless individuals like you, my friend, who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126hardcoreclothing.com. Come on now. Michael Tittle, what's up down there in Nashville, bro? Grunge and Grime Soap Company. They're a handmade soap and skincare company with a rock and roll spirit based in Smashville, Tennessee. They combine their love for rock music and the love for creating products that are good for your skin and good for your soul. Since the year of our God, 2019, they've been creating high-quality, natural, handmade soaps and skincare products with ethically sourced and sustainable ingredients. They give 10% of their net proceeds to local and community outreach programs. Visit the website at www.grungeandgrime.com and enter the code DREW, that's DREW, to get 20% off your first order. That said, let's clear the deck. What the heck? and let's bring our guest on. Everybody behaving themselves in there? AU, Joe, what happened to we love Josh at Chain Reaction Records. They did their time as a sponsor. He wanted to get into some other things, but we love them. They're always welcome here, and they love and support the show. So Josh isn't an official Chain Reaction's not an official sponsor these days, but we still have love for them. That said, when is Volume 2 flyers coming? Funny you should mention that. I just did some interviews, and if you're a patron of this show on Patreon, I'm about to release the interviews I did. I did one with Lou from Sick of It All, Jesse Malin, and Chaka from Burn and Irons 9mm. It's going to be just purely Patreon content only. If there's anybody out there that's wondering about supporting the show, well, goddamn, the show needs your support. Seriously, there's the Patreon information. Please join on Patreon. It's $2 a month, $5 a month, whatever. If you watch the show and you enjoy the show, please support the show. That said, let's bring our guest on. Let's clear the deck. Here we go. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Excited about this one. Today's guest is an American musician hailing from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. via New York City. For over 9 years, numerous albums and tours, he's primarily known for his work with the band Government Issue. Please welcome, coming at us from the suburbs of New York City, here today to talk about GI's rich and vibrant history, please welcome our old friend, Tom Lyle. Hey, man.
Hello, Drew. Rich and vibrant. Rich and vibrant. We'll keep it like that, right?
Yes.
Man, it's great to be on this show. The energy is incredible. I love it.
We're gonna have a blast. Excuse me, is that your media room that you're coming to us from?
Yes, that's he's saying that because I told him that we had a realtor look at the house one day, and he walked in here and he called it a media room. So that's stuck, I guess.
And what happens in the media room? Is it in the basement?
We have a tall and narrow house. There's 3 floors, and this is on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
And it's mine. It's all mine. There's nothing up here but a stereo system, my records, and a PC and chair.
Is it like the what do they have?
No girls are loud. Yes.
No go zone, or like it's a demilitarized zone.
Yeah, and that too, of course.
That's great. All right, let's chop it up a little. People are excited. Joe Frank says, "Welcome." Here we go. Did you come up in a musical household? How did music come into your life? Sort of set the table for us.
Oh, you wanted me to go back to the origins, the day one?
Well, did you grow? In the house you grew up with, was there music?
The volcano's cool, the earth's cool, and the environment changed enough, and life began, and evolution, stepped up, and then my mom bought me Beatles records when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And at that time, I decided that's what I want to do. And I've never, ever strayed from that. That's what I want to do. And I, kind of did it.
So the Beatles.
There was some things in between, right?
But the Beatles were the first music that really sort of spoke.
The first popular music that I heard, that, and I think Petula Clark's Downtown, but I didn't get into that too much. It wasn't, I didn't have enough guitar energy, I guess,
Right. And from the Beatles, where did it go from there?
Garage bands that sucked, right? And then this genre of music came along called hardcore, where you could first join the band and then learn your instrument. And, that was for me, right? Because I played guitar okay, but I wasn't,
Did you pick up, what inspired you to pick up an instrument? How old were you when you picked up an instrument, and why guitar?
Uh, because never thought of anything else. Never even considered anything else. I mean, I went to elementary school and I played, some wind instruments, and I was in the high school band. I was the timpanist, and I did that for a while. And
Wow,
I
that's like a
theory.
specialty. That's a specialty job there.
Yeah, I was like, you can only be in the band or the orchestra, but I could be in both because they needed a timpanist, someone who knew how to tune those instruments, and it was me. And that way I also didn't have to do marching band.
Right.
Got out of that. So, sign me up. Right. And I did that. And, I was just always music. And, soon as I was old enough, I would go to shows. And I think I'm a little bit older than you. So I saw Robin Trower at the Academy of Music in New York. And I saw ZZ Top when they were,
Would that be Robin Trower doing like the Bridges Size
tour? Yeah, that was a Bridges Size tour. And I saw Slade, which was, I'm still into that band.
Wow.
I saw Slade, and that's when I still wasn't able to drive yet. I was really young. I was very, very young because my parents didn't, they seen and not heard. What is that expression? Seen but not heard.
Right.
Or whatever. So
yeah.
I didn't really have. I was kind of feral,
And
I could find someone to drive me to a show.
Yeah. I'm looking for here you go. I got it. The Academy of Music, of course, which later became the Palladium.
Yeah, they renovated.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the Palladium, and this is the early '80s, but on 14th Street. Of course, the Academy of Music later became the Palladium, and of course, one of the great crimes against humanity is when NYU bought the building and tore it down, and now it's just a true.
The Academy of Music, that was probably one of the loudest rock shows I can ever remember. Anything that was there was loud. They really cranked it up there. It was because it was a big empty room with theater seating, and it was very, very loud.
Okay, I just found this in the archive. This is cool.
That was a long time ago, Drew.
Yeah. Well, we're just touching on a little history here. Here's at the Academy of Music, 1974, Fleetwood Mac Silverhead, which was Michael DeBar, who we've had on the show, and then another show's New York Dolls, and then of course Black Oak, Arkansas.
Jim Dandy, is that?
Yeah.
Sang for them?
Who David Lee Roth admittingly lifted his whole act from.
Oh yeah. But that's cool. If you're gonna steal from someone, there.
Like Zappa says, there's only one original idea, Everything else,
That's what's funny about bands suing other bands because they stole their songs.
Yeah.
What the hell,
Right. Right. Exactly. So we this hardcore thing. How did this hardcore thing come into your orbit?
I don't believe in God or a higher power or something like that, but something happened on Halloween '81. I was bored, and what do you do when there's no internet or cell phones or anything? You hang out at the record stores.
Sure.
Right? That's where we hung out. So it's Halloween '81. And it's during the daytime in DC. This is in DC. I'm living in DC. And I go to the store that John Stabb worked at. He was at the front. He took your bag from you and put it in the cubbies while you shopped. And then he'd give you back your bag at the end. And he was all bummed out. And I'm like, what's the matter, Stabb?
Did you know him already? Or
I knew him from I can go back farther than that, and I will, but let's save that.
Okay? Yeah. Okay.
When I first met Stabb.
Yeah.
But that's another, I don't know how much time we have. This is a 6-hour show, right?
But
I said, why are you so bummed out, Stabb? And he goes, well, we have a show tonight at the Chancery. The Chancery. You've seen the pictures of Faith with the court house things on the wallpaper.
We're gonna get to it. Yeah.
Chancery, right? And it's with Black Market Baby. The show was with Black Market Baby.
Right.
And he's all bummed out. And I go, why are you bummed out? And at that time, Brian Baker was playing bass for them.
Right. Because
their bass player went to college in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is in high school still. And like, what's the matter? He goes, well, Brian's going up to New York to see Fear with everybody because Fear is going to be on Saturday Night Live. And I'm not going because we have a gig tonight. And I said, well, I know all your songs. I'll play bass tonight. And he goes, yeah, okay. So we got together that afternoon and had a little rehearsal.
Can I interject that? I'm assuming that when you say I know all your songs, that this was something you were familiar with.
A little bit. I mean, I didn't have as many records as I do now, but I sure had that one.
Right.
And so I don't know if I knew all their songs, but how hard could it be? I would thought. And I didn't have a bass. I had to borrow a bass because I was a guitarist. So I borrowed a bass.
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, right? Like, how hard can
but yeah, hardcore, right?
Right.
I learned very quickly that the songs weren't as easy as I thought they might.
Sure.
But it was an incredible show, man. People, there's photos of it. And it's just, the crowd is just like, I mean, it was just, as soon as we hit the first note, the place exploded. And I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. This is just, but after that show, they forgave Brian and let him back in the band. But they said, but in a few months, our guitarist, John Barry, is leaving to Bulgaria with his diplomat father and family. They're moving.
DC. Oh, you DC guys with the.
You have no idea. You saw them. You saw Salad Days. I'm not giving any secrets away about where the kids were from or anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, he said Brian's going to switch to guitar, and then you'll come back and be your bassist. So they played only one more show. They played with TSOL at the 930 Club with Brian back on bass. Right. And then I joined the band with Brian on guitar. And that was, I think our first show was in December with a lineup of Faith, Void, Deadline, and a band called Capital Punishment, which it didn't last very long. They never recorded.
And was it soon after that you guys recorded the Make an Effort EP?
That was this was December, and then by February, not only did we record Make an Effort, but we went for our first out of town shows, which was CB's the first night, right, and then Gallery East in Boston the next night.
Well, that's where
you were either there or some people who were there.
Well, that's where we crossed paths. That's right. The first time.
But the night before we played Gallery East, we played the Emerson College dorms. Yeah. Dorm. What do they call that area?
It's in the Back Bay.
The general area.
Yeah. I was going to Emerson College at the time. I lived across the street in the Charlesgate dormitory. Mm-hmm. And then there was the Fensgate dormitory where Katie the cleaning lady lived.
How many bands played? How many bands were like 7 or something?
Yeah. Like so what happened was you guys came to town.
FSD, every Boston hardcore band. Every single one. But it was a great show. It really was.
You guys came to town for this.
With Double O.
Right here. Here it is. This is what you came to town for. This was at the Gallery East on Saturday, March 20th. It was Government Issue, Double O, SSD Control, and the debut of Negative FX. So the night before this, we snuck you guys and the equipment into the Fensgate dormitory and up to like the 5th floor.
How are you going to sneak an SVT bass amplifier into it? Yeah, they knew what was going on.
We went out, I think it was the 5th floor student lounge, right?
Yeah, there you go.
And we set up the equipment on the 5th floor student lounge, and we played the Mighty COs. The Freeze played. You guys played. I think Double O played, and there was like 20 kids, 15 kids.
At least we sat on the. I think everybody who was there was in a band, one of the bands, right?
Yeah.
And we just sat on the carpet, and against the wall.
I think it was the first time I ever performed in a band.
Oh, there you go.
It was the very. Yeah, it was the. I think we did 4 songs. I just joined that band. We just started going. It was the first time I did it.
Right.
Got in front of my friends and did it. So the next day was this incredible Gallery East show, right?
That's only one of the flyers. There were a lot of different flyers for it, right?
Yeah. There's that one and there's this one. Here's another one from that. And then I got some
great night that was, man. That was
Yeah.
just. There was
There
a
you go.
review in the paper too in Boston something or other, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
That's another flyer.
That's a bit. I like that.
Yeah. Michael LaRouche says regarding the SVT, that amp is like sneaking in a baby cram piano.
Yes, pretty much.
It's like a refrigerator. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a refrigerator.
Pretty much.
It
It takes
Jeez.
2 people just to carry the head.
Yeah.
The tube amp head.
So I got some photos here. Some of them have never before been seen. These came to me when I directed the Boston Hardcore
This is
film.
March. The flyers never have a year on it, but this is March '82.
Correct.
People who haven't been paying attention. So,
Correct. So March of '82, and when I did XXX All Ages XXX, the Boston Hardcore film, Phil and Flash, I scanned a bunch of his photos, including this whole roll of film from that day, and I used a couple of photos in the film, and I posted a couple other photos, but I don't particularly consider myself at liberty to take a photographer's stuff and just frivolously put them up on the internet. I don't
you
do
and
that.
nobody else. I mean, everybody else does it.
No, I don't do that. But being that on the show here, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put up a couple of shots. Some of these have been seen. I don't think this one here has ever been seen. Check that out.
Oh man, look at that! I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's never been seen.
You recognize that bass? That is a Hagstrom 8-string bass, by the way.
And you played this 8-string bass through the whole set?
Yeah, that was my bass.
Wow.
Earlier in the month, this is March. In February, not only did we record the Make an Effort EP, and then in March do this, but we played the Bad Brains brought us up to CB's, and we played a set at CB's too for the first time.
Yeah,
that was pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I never seen that picture, man. Look at those.
I'm telling you, no one's ever seen these.
Look at those pants, man. He was quite a dapper young.
A quick story about those infamous. We call them the rainbow slacks, right?
Yeah. These aren't color.
When we're done with this, we came down from Boston when SSD Control played the Chancery, and we went to
with us, by the way.
That's right. I have those pictures are next, and then we went to said record store where John worked, right? Where he was checking bags, and we went to that record store and interacted with John. And Jamie told me this a couple years ago, how when I first met John, I was so taken aback by those slacks that I had
he was still wearing. They survived that trip. That's cool.
But when I first met him, he was wearing these things. I also like the X's not on his hands, but on the top of the boots. Those are great.
Yeah,
those are great too. Oh, he says Michael LaRouche says that's a real Swedish-made Hagstrom.
Yes, it's the original Hagstrom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I still had it, but
Yeah.
It was just a thing, not a person or anything.
Yeah. So. Here's another one from that Gallery E show, and I think you saw this the other day. I'm not sure if this one's been out there, but there's you and Brian in that shot.
No, never.
Yeah.
Never. Brian shaved his head in early February, I mean. So it's just growing back.
Yeah.
The show where we played with the Misfits at 930 Club. Man, we did a lot of shows.
Right.
But if you've seen the pictures of him at the Misfit show, you could see him with a shaved head.
Now, this one's been out there because this was on the cover of a fanzine called Forced Exposure.
Yeah, there you go. You can see me peeking through the.
Yeah.
But that's just a classic photo.
Yeah, that was on this roll that I scanned. So when I saw that, I was like, oh yes, of course. And then there's sort of like the other ones that have never seen the light of day. You know.
Well, we just started. We're still back in early '82. Look at that. When Brian.
It's okay.
That was a very short but productive part of the era of the band.
I know this has never been seen.
No, that's it.
Now do I remember this gal's name? Tony in the middle there?
Tony, yes.
Yeah.
And we miss Tony. Tony died a few years later he had pneumonia.
Wow.
And didn't make it. So
let me see if I got one last one from. Yeah, these are some bangers, man. These are great. Oh, this is a great one. All right, here's a great one. This is the in your. Look at that.
Very good. Oh
yeah.
Man, look at that.
Yeah,
that's a great shot. You just can't see.
What's that? Brian playing? Is that his gold top? Which one is that?
Yeah, that's a 3 pickup Les Paul. I don't remember that guitar. Wow, incredible. I don't remember.
And there's our good friend and supporter Al Baril from SSD Control says good show, and in the spirit of Al Baril saying good show, that is my cue to put this photo up. Of course.
No, he said great show. Great show.
Great show. There he is, Al Baril, tearing it up for Government Issue right there. So
Thank you, Al.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Now I'm thanking him. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like John Stab with the upside down peace sign.
Yeah, he was incredible.
He was great. He was really a one of a kind, man. All right, I know I'm kind of just one last one. These are just so good. I know no one's ever seen this one. You back there yucking it up, you know?
Well, it was funny. No, I don't know if maybe someone's saying something. Those boots, man.
What? So, can you give us a little perspective on John as a front man? Like you played with him so much, and so I mean, can you give us a little anecdote?
A brother from another planet, man. You know, what can I say? You know, he was. You're in a band with someone for 9 years, right? You can't. I mean, it's, you know, we hated each other like brothers. You know, we really got on each other's nerves a lot, and you know, but we were a good creative team, I think, very good creative team. Because after Brian left, I said to him, "Well, who's going to play guitar?" He goes, "You are." I'm like, "What?" Okay, I'll play guitar. And I also became the main songwriter, you know, of the music. And I would write the music, and Stab I'd bring these songs into rehearsal, and Stab has a book of lyrics. She's always writing, always writing.
One of those guys.
Yes, journals and lyrics and whatever.
Yeah.
And he'd pull something out and he'd try something, and it would work or not work. So, you know, so from then on, we became the Paul McCartney, John Lennon.
Well, I think it's you know, pretty safe to say that at a certain point, the band became incredibly proficient. I mean, you guys put out a lot of stuff in a couple of years.
There was a reason for that. After we recorded Boycott, we recorded a record with the lineup of me on guitar, right? first. That was the Boycott Stab.
Hold on, hold on. Let me put that up just as a visual reference. Which
okay.
I mean, I know we're skipping around. I know we're skipping.
No, we're not. This is chronological. This is cool.
Okay, because this to me, I love this record, man. This record, I got this record really, really, really. It's to this day top 10, hardcore records. This is up there.
I don't know if they could bottle the energy that we had when we were recording that. I get a prescription. There's no question about it. And but we recorded it, and we recorded it with Ian MacKaye and producing it. And we said, well, when's the record going to come out? And that was when Minor Threat had gotten back together again. Right. And they were going to go on tour the summer of '83. And we had finished the record in January of '83. And he said, well, no, because we have to put out Making F Out of Step. So we have a record when we're going to go on tour. So we went with Fountain of Youth, and we put that out as a split with Discord and Fountain of Youth.
Right.
But Fountain of Youth was really Dutch East India.
Is that right?
Yes. And Dutch East India said to us, we'll give you money, any money you need to record, anytime you need, and we'll put out the records. So we're like, shit. So, and also I had this feeling of this can't last.
Mm.
This is just too good, and it's just not going to last. So every time we would go into the studio, and we put out. And at one point, by 1985, we had 2 record companies, because we felt like we didn't have enough exposure on the West Coast. So we signed with Mystic Records, who is, people joke about them, how they're, they put out anything. And
that's not to be confused with Dr. Strange Records, right?
No. Dr. Strange was still in grade school by that time. he was a kid. No. In '85, he was in high school or something.
Right.
Because he saw us on that West Coast tour. Right. But Mystic, they treated us like kings, because everybody else on the label was not that professional, put it that way. And we played
and Lord knows you and John Stab were at the
very professional.
Very professional.
But we played the Olympic Auditorium with Conflict and Subhumans. And we played Fender's Ballroom in LA, and we played every day for 2.5 weeks all over Southern California. And they treated us like kings. We stayed at the same hotel that Ozzy Osbourne lived at that time when he was bottoming out. This was later. This was a couple of years later.
Is that in LA?
Yeah, it's in Hollywood, right?
Yeah. That's the Riot House, the Hyatt.
No, it wasn't that place. It wasn't that place. No, this place was much lower on the food chain.
Oh, it was farther down Sunset Boulevard. It was where Janis Joplin OD'd. It was that place.
There you go. But they treated us like kings, man. That was awesome. Right. But so that's why we put out at least one serious album a year.
You did
until '88, right? Yep. The last album's Crash.
Yep.
But then we put out the double live album after that, Finale.
You guys were incredibly proficient for a couple of years there.
Because I thought, this can't last, man.
Yeah,
you got some songs. Let's go record.
Let's do it. Our friend director George Seminara says, master of the Mystic Records. Obviously, they would put out anything. Well,
he said when all these records I'm throwing against the wall, one of them's going to stick eventually.
Yeah.
Doug Moody, the criminal. He never paid us a royalty.
Yeah, right. There you go. Hey, we'll put your records out really fast, and we'll give you some money to record. But don't think you're going to ever get a royalty statement.
No, I'm not talking about Dutch East. I'm talking about Mystic.
Yeah,
Dutch East was very nice to us.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because we sold records,
Right. Let me ask you about this record that I fucking love, man. I love this record. This record really just kicks ass. And a couple years ago, there was a reissue with the complete session, and I really enjoyed hearing the complete session. correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess at the time when you recorded everything, including songs that were previously recorded, and then you decided, let's just put out Boycott Stab with just the new stuff. Is that correct?
Yes, that's it. I didn't want to. It was my decision. I didn't want to put out anything that had already been out. I didn't want a record of covers of Legless Bull songs.
Sure.
Right? And the stuff that we were already recorded with Brian that was on Make an Effort.
Right.
Right. But here you go. It's all here for everybody to hear now.
And it's great. I mean, listening to the whole session, I really.
I tell you something also that I haven't told too many people. I didn't have a guitar amp at the time, so I would just use whatever was there. And when we recorded that, the Marshall amp that was there was Lyle Presler's from Minor Threat. I played guitar. That record was made with his Marshall.
Nice.
And but I just plugged into it, hit a few chords, say, "Oh, that sounds good," and recorded the album.
Wow.
I didn't change any of the settings on it or anything.
That's
pretty good.
Your guitar tone on that record speaks to me, bro. I love it.
It's the player, not the amp, right?
It's just that record. And listen, I'll say also that, going back to my old friend Rob Nunzio from Antidote, we loved that record, man. He loved that record. I know you're a big fan of his guitar playing in that era, but we love that. Yeah,
that's I don't have to listen to it. It's on my mental hard drive. I can just
Thou Shalt Not Kill is a mess. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
Absolutely.
he probably changed the settings on his guitar amp before he recorded it. I just plugged in. Yeah.
If it's good enough for Minor Threat, it's good enough.
Let's go. I don't know. Someone else might have used it before me, not Minor Threat, but whatever. I didn't change the settings.
Kind of going where the horse leads us. Concrete Burial says, Government Issue was known all through the German hardcore scene. We tried to get all the records. I think it's pretty safe to say that a little bit later on in the GI timeline, you guys had a real staunch fan base in Germany and in Europe.
Well,
right?
we were we're getting real ahead of ourselves though.
Why not?
Because we didn't get to Europe until '86.
Right.
But we did play about 7 shows in Germany, all over. One of the best shows I've ever played in my life was in West Berlin. It was before the wall came down.
Right.
So we had to drive through East Germany. Murphy's Law will tell you about that. They did it too. You have to drive through East Germany with machine gun turrets aimed at the highway, that you're driving on to get through to West Berlin, because West Berlin is a little enclave,
Yeah, yes, I remember. Yes, sure.
So,
you got to go down the one highway. There was like one highway going. I remember when I went over there with Biohazard back in the day.
Right.
It was like, and God forbid you break down and go off the highway.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. But anyway, that show in Berlin was just anybody could hear it on our GI live bootleg page and on Bandcamp, where you can download or just listen to live GI shows. Yeah, because I recorded every single one of them.
Wow.
So
how did you? What was the recording device that you used on the road to record all these
Marantz Superscope CD330. Does that mean anything to you? I mean, it's a reporter's cassette deck, but it's made for reporters and things like that. But it's very high quality. It's 3-head, and it runs on batteries too. But I would, plug it into the wall.
And you'd go off the board?
Go off the board. And sometimes I would put one mic into one channel and the board into the other, and then mix them down later.
And sort of get an ambient room mic.
Room a little bit, some applause and whatever, if they're applauding.
Wow.
But they applauded in Germany, though. Germany was, all of Europe was just insane. We went as far east as what was Yugoslavia.
Wow. At the time. Wow.
And there was no internet. So we didn't know what we were getting into. We thought we were just in a basement or something.
So talk about, you were on a wing and a prayer.
That's it, right?
Let's hope for the best.
It's a bunch of atheists. That's not so good, right?
Are we playing a squat today or somebody's
We had
basement?
no idea. We got there and it was a big show in Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
It was a big show. It was on. It was like a video background while we were playing, and pretty large hall, and lots and lots and lots of beer.
Hey, can we digress just back for a second, because I want to mention this show from February 20th, 1982. These photos, some of these have never been seen before, but this is the Chancery, and this is when I came down from Boston, as part of the Boston contingent, and it was government issue SSD control and Iron Cross at the Chancery, and this was taken by Bridget Collins from up in the balcony of the Chancery, and there you are, and that shot's never been seen, but this other shot.
You put it down so fast, man.
Yeah, I got another one. Things move fast. Things move fast here, man. Here's another one, and
is that you dancing?
I'm on the left there.
Okay, go.
I'm on the left there.
You dancing, or you're standing like this?
I'm behind. I'm with the guy with his arms like this.
Yes.
I'm right next to him with the black shirt on.
Okay.
And then I think those are some of your pals. I think I see Ian's brother with the blonde hair, Alec.
Alec.
Yeah, and I think Chris Bald I'm standing next to, but yeah.
That's a great shot, isn't it?
Mark Haggerty standing next to the stage with
everybody. It's like a class photo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So our paths crossed at this point.
But how come none of the males have any hair though? That's weird. Whatever.
Here's another one. Let me see. This is a great one, man. These are great shots. I'm just excited because I finally get a chance to put them up. People can see.
The girl I was dating is in that photo too at the time.
Yeah, there's another one, same kind of thing. Just tearing it up.
That's That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a very famous shot that Jim Saw took of Springer at the top of the PA system.
Yes, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
It's almost like public domain now.
Yeah.
So many people have seen it, but that's the show.
Yeah.
That's the show.
Here it is. Here's the flyer for it. And we came down. We came from Boston to DC.
I think I don't know who made that. Oh, that's Sab Gray made that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. World War I flyer. Yeah.
Iron Cross.
Yeah. Iron Cross SSD control government issue.
GI, not even government issue.
GI. We're GI now.
The GIs, yes.
All right. Last one, never before seen from that Chancery show.
That's those Chancery photos, man. That just brings back so many memories.
Look at that.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's just, I've never seen those. Those are great photos. That's great.
Yep. Good shit. So.
And I'm still learning how to play those bass parts.
That's that. Yeah. So yeah, Springer. Yeah, Springer and the whole bit. Yeah, that's right. Yep. But yeah, I wanted to get those out there. That said, let's take this opportunity. Let me take a sponsor break for a couple minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll do album of the week with Sid the Kid, and we will continue on and we'll talk about stuff like Joyride and Glee Club and
get past the.
We'll get past the early,
very
80s.
Early days, right?
All right, I'll talk to you in a bit.
I'll stick around.
That's right. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Tom Lyle. So excited about that. A word from our sponsor.
Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. We are looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to serve all the events as we usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles.
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer.
Video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars! We are New York hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
And we're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is our old friend, Tom Lyle from Government Issue. It is Sunday shout-out day. We're getting down. There's lots to talk about. Lots of cool shit. I want to mention upcoming shows. There will be no show. It's today. There's not going to be a show for a minute. I'm going to Arizona tomorrow for a couple of days. We have a Bowery Electric show next Sunday. It's Rampage Fest. So the next show is Wednesday, November 16th with Gary Bennett from Kill Your Idols, Sheer Terror, and Death Cycle. After that, speaking of Boston Hardcore and SSD Control, on Sunday, November 20th, 2 weeks from today, another old friend, Chris Foley from SSD Control, will be on the show. Sunday, November 27th, Brooke Smith will be on the show celebrating the release of her book, Sunday Matinee. Of course, you know Brooke, actress. She was in Silence of the Lambs. She was great on Ray Donovan and Grey's Anatomy. Old school New York hardcore gal. She'll be on here talking about her new book, Sunday Matinee. Wednesday, November 30th, R.B. Corbett will be on the show. Currently, she's in the Bush Tetras. Back in the day-o, she was in Even Worse, and of course, also Highly Effective People. John Montes, Sunday, December 4th, will be on the show. MOD, Ministry, Mindfunk, and all that. You hear it here first. Hasn't been announced yet, but here we go. Sunday, December 11th, the one, the only legendary photographer, David Godless, is coming on the show. Yeah, we love doing these shows with photographers. Yo, David Godless is coming on the show. Super excited about this. Incredible photos he took of the early days of punk rock in New York City. All those iconic Dead Boys, Ramones, all the CBGB stuff, Blondie. This is going to be really, really great. And then Wednesday, November 14th, in celebration of their new book, Jersey Metal Volume 1, another great photographer, Frank White, and Alan Tecchio from Hades and Nonfiction. They both authored and published this book, Jersey Metal. So that said, a lot going down. Those out there wondering how to support the show, please support the show. The show needs your support. There's the Patreon page. There's also a PayPal address there if you want to make a donation. Please support the show. The show needs your support. There's also a super chat feature. You can, if when we do questions, do a super chat thing. Your question comes through on color. I can't miss it. You go right to the front of the line. It's like tipping the maitre d' at the restaurant. I want to thank a new patron, Joel Soldezo, and Scott Vigor and Hendrik Feller on PayPal. Please, please, please support the show. Yeah, man, Astoria Lou. Great shows coming up. We're doing it, bro. We're doing it over here, man. 230 shows in, You think so, Heggs? Lots of great metal came out of New Jersey. Damn straight. This book is great, Heggs. You'd love this book, man. Speaking of Heggs, Heggs is presenting on Sunday, November 13th, Rampage Fest 4, brought to you by the New York Hardcore Chronicles and Heggs. So there you go. We are excited once again. Come Rampage with us. It's Rampage Fest time, everybody. A couple days after that, Sunday, December 3rd, at Generation Records is the Brooke Smith book event. I will be moderating that. Sunday, December 10th, New York Hardcore Comics presents Leeway, Fire is Murder, ID, Damn Your Eyes, and Polyabuse up at the Sawmill Tavern. And then the Holiday Slamboree brought to you by Women of the Pit and GBT with Faded Lines, Serial Poets, Concrete Ties, Voice of Doom, Daija, Spoiler NYC, and Sworn Enemy. Free on the Bowery. If it's free, it's for me. All ages. So bring that booger eating kid of yours. Everybody's welcome. Bring that, you can bring that nagging wife, bring that booger eating kid, whatever. Bring that slob ass husband of yours. There's room for everybody on the boat. So that said, let us bring on the one, the only Sid the Kid.
Ralph.
What's going on, bro?
What's going on, Drew? What's going on, everybody?
What's happening in your world, Sid?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Bada boom, bada bing, work.
You're working, huh? Think you're working?
Work for the devil, Drew. You work ungodly hours.
You're working for the devil, huh?
We won't say who it is, but we know who.
Yeah. $50 said Sid picks his nose.
Oh, too late.
You're making my nose itch. That said, look, you Dorcas. See? Your fellow DJ. Let's bring our guest back on. The one, the only Tom Lyle. Hey, man.
Yo.
Hey, how's it going, Tom?
Hey, Sid, what do you got for us?
Oh, we got a little secret surprise for you, but even your record collection. Holy
Here we go.
shit,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, album of the week.
Boom!
Boom.
Okay. There you go, Sid. Lay it on us, Sid.
All righty, guys. Well, for those who don't know, this is Black Market Babies, Senseless Offerings. Just a quick little backstory about this band. They came out back in 1980 by vocalist Boyd Farrell. My apologies for mispronouncing the name, of Paul Cleary, who were in a band called Snitch, who just broken up. So basically, things evolve, and coming up to this, they put out two singles at the time, I believe, American Youth and Crimes of Passion. So, as time went on, one DC individual, if you obviously Minor Threat, but not who you think, Skip Groff definitely was pushing this band to do something a little bigger, and obviously this is Senseless Offerings. Now, it's been a while since I've even heard this record, and honestly I had to come back to it last couple of days. Basically, the way I could best put this, they definitely, even though this was an East Coast style band, they definitely did have a lot of West Coast flavor to it. If you could think really early TSOL, this is definitely what jumps out at you. But, for a band coming out from the East Coast, specifically the Northeast, this band definitely had it, with, I believe, 12, 13 tracks on this record. Short, but to the point. It's not your typical quote-unquote hardcore punk, especially for 83, even within, 1983 stylings. This is one of those bands, when you really listen to it, it was a band that was evolving at the time. And definitely this record speaks for itself. And, coming back to it now, it really does speak for itself. Obviously TSOL did come to mind when I heard a couple of these tracks, but definitely is a hardcore punk record for sure.
Right on, right on. Hey, Tom, is this a record or band that resonates with you?
No, are you kidding me? They were the first DC punk band I ever saw. I saw them in 1980, early
Wow.
1980, and they were very influential. And I got to work with them, which was really cool. I produced one of their last sessions, which is on their compilation CD, Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda,
Right.
which is kind of the mantra of that band, and so that's a very cool record.
I think in reference to
I don't hear TSOL in it, but it's still.
Well, I mean, if you kind of listen to, I mean, Tom, in the sense of, I mean, it comes out from my perception of it, especially the first TSOL 7-inch, and I'm not trying to compare it.
Well, there you go.
To this record,
that
but
I agree.
There's a little bit of the sprinklings within it, and
Absolutely.
coming back from like that, that first TSOL 7-inch coming out in 1980 to this album coming out 3 years later.
Can I add something, Sid?
Yep, add to it.
As far as coulda, shoulda, woulda, sort of my perception of this band in sort of that era was, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but they're a band that they sort of didn't play much out of the DC area. Maybe
they never got in the van.
They never got in the van. Like up, I don't think they ever played up in Boston.
No,
I don't think that they might have made it to CB's once or twice, but
no,
this is a band that was right. This is a band that was hard for like a New York guy to see,
Yeah, I know it's hard, but they had responsibilities. They all had, they had children when they were young, and they had day jobs. Put it that way.
Right. Got it.
But they were, as people, always at all the gigs, and they were part of the DC scene, though. They were always there, but they didn't leave DC.
This was recorded at Hit and Run in Rockville, Maryland.
Hit and Run is owned by the brother of the drummer, Tommy Carr. And a lot of hardcore was GI's first demo which is out on the 7-inch, which is kind of hard to get, but it's available. But Government Issue's first demo, pre-Legless Bull, was recorded at that same studio. And a lot of, I think, Artificial Pieces record was recorded there. No, I'm wrong about that. But a lot of bands.
I like the disclaimer on the back. It says, "This record album was made under extreme conditions. Therefore, it is to be played at an extreme volume."
There you go.
That's good. Good disclaimer. And here's this is the lyric sheet that was in. I had this record.
What happened?
Listen, man, I'm not like you. I got rid of everything.
No,
So that's
I wouldn't know what that's like. I don't.
Yeah. I'm like the opposite of you. I'm like, I get freaked out. Like I don't want anything. Like I get Sid. Sid. I know you got a show coming up. Tell us about it, and thank you for your
good pick, though. Really good pick.
Yeah, it was a shot in the dark. And between me and Drew, we went through a few albums. I was like, we try to honestly really pick an album that, either we've never ever touched or just not really been talked about. So we try to
that pressing is really hard to get, though. I mean, you can get there's some CDs that people can get, but vinyl, no, you're not going to find any.
Definitely. Well, guys and gals, if you're around tomorrow night, pushing the times a little later, I'm going to be doing my show on MixLR. You go to mixlr.com/SDK Sound System. It's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Just been picking up a lot of stuff off the internet. So a few bands have been contacting me, sending me new material. Really good stuff, especially coming out of Europe, specifically Austria, Belgium, Czechoslovakia, and of all places, Greece. So I'm looking forward to playing some of this stuff tomorrow. And if you're around, definitely tune in and see what it's all about.
Thank you, Sid. Well done, young man.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and
soon.
gentlemen, for watching and dealing with my bullshit and everything else. So I'm going to go eat. You all enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
That was his exit. That was cool, right? Good one. Let's pick it back up. Can I ask you about this? This is an interesting thing. Can you? What's going on with this? What's happening here?
That was paid for by Warner Brothers, directed by I'll tell you, we were on tour.
Uh-huh.
All right. And I think it was Biloxi, Mississippi, or Gulfport, Louisiana.
Wow.
I don't know, but we were bored and we were at the mall. Remember, no internet, no cell phones, right? It was 1987 tour or 88 tour, 88 tour. And there was a record store, one of those chain record stores, and it had a chalkboard outside and it said, record your own music video. And we went to them and said, well, you know, if we gave you this, could we do our video to this? And we picked the background. He showed us a bunch of backgrounds.
We'll take the sparkly one.
Yes. And we did that in one take. Boom, done. That's our music video, the only one that exists.
And those are your instruments?
No, they're not our instruments.
No.
Look at them. They're toys.
Yeah, right.
They're toys. They were just sitting there there's a stand-up of Elvis.
Yeah.
And no, they were just.
Is this the final? Is this the final sort of run that you guys did in 80? In 80? No.
If we weren't in the recording studio, we were touring.
Right.
And at this time, we were touring, and this was a '88 tour, which was all over the U.S. Maybe 3 months.
Wow.
And all over playing almost every day. U.S. and as far north as Edmonton, Canada, as far south as West Palm Beach, I think, in Florida, and as far west as LA. Wow. You know, so we went from Vancouver to Edmonton in one drive through the Canadian Rockies and blah 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 blah. You know, but '88 tour, we had our. That's when we toured with our own sound system.
Wow.
Very big van with a very big trailer. We had our own sound man and roadies and the whole thing, but it was grueling to say the least. But we had air conditioning at least, you know, for that one. Yeah, but it was.
You know, we spoke about this before, but Government Issue plays CBGBs amazingly like 14 times,
14 times, yeah. The first time was when the Bad Brains asked us to play, and that was in February of '82, and our last show was in late '88 probably. But we loved CBs, man. And you know, CBs had a 16-track recorder.
Yeah.
And the album The Fun Just Never Ends, the one after Joyride,
right,
we recorded there during the day with no audience.
No kidding.
And yeah, because you know, Hilly said, okay. You know, I don't know why any other bands didn't do it. I love CB sound, right?
16 track?
16 track 2-inch, yeah.
Ow. And what, you just ran out and got a reel of tape?
No, they got it for us. We don't do that. They right. got it for us, you know, or somebody.
I wonder who engineered that.
A roadie ran to 47th
yeah.
Street.
Who engineered it? You have any idea?
Who engineered it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's on the record. A woman did it. Beth somebody. Wow. And then the guy in Prong, I think.
Yeah, Tommy Victor.
Tommy Victor helped us mix it, or so they did something with it.
Tommy
Victor's name is on there because he didn't do enough. But
yeah,
you know,
Tommy Victor
I don't remember who else.
Yeah.
But everybody's credited on the record.
Yeah.
But you know, it was only 30 years ago. I don't know why I don't remember these people's names, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Isn't so sort of
But like I
Michael-
said, we were either on the road or we were in the studio. I don't think we had rehearsals though. I wrote a lot of the songs. We would practice them and learn them on sound checks and things.
yeah,
That's what-
rehearsals
Yeah.
rehearsals
We
for
didn't have
squares,
time.
man.
We didn't have time. We didn't have time. We would rehearse. We would learn the songs and rehearse them on sound checks. You know.
Damien asks, isn't one side of Finale recorded at the Ritz in New York City?
Yes, it is. So which is now called Webster Hall, right?
That's right. That's
And
right.
when I was younger, I thought that was a huge place, man. You're playing
Yeah.
the Ritz, man. That's
Sure.
cool. But now I look at it and it's like, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
huge, but it's not.
Yeah.
So I saw Suicide's last show there in 2013 or something like that. It's like, yeah.
Speaking of Webster Hall, here's Webster Hall in when it opened in 1914, I believe.
Yeah.
And the fact that it is still there and still, you know, it was a recording studio for many years, like a big band recording studio.
No, it wasn't. No, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, that's it. There's
That's so
Webster Hall
cool.
back
On
in the
11th
day.
Street, on 11th
Yeah.
Street, right between first
Yeah.
and second, or second and third, whatever.
Between third and
And Lex, really?
and Lafayette.
And Lafayette. Okay.
Let's
Sorry.
see, let me see if I have. I think I have a shot of it as.
Or GI played there twice. We played there with Fear,
Mhm.
right? And with the Dead Milkmen once. Remember them?
Of course.
I think they're still touring. No
Here's a-
transferable job skills.
Here's a later shot, which is probably more around that era when it was actually the Ritz.
But I love that place.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
And you know who did sound for us on that's on that record, the live album Finale, which is going to be reissued on double LP, probably in early next year because things are so slow with the pressing plants. But Jerry Williams was our engineer.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he did a lot. When we played New York, Jerry Williams was at the board. If he was around, we would use Jerry Williams. He just show up. You know,
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, J. Lee. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
But he just show up. Jerry,
Yeah.
all right. We do our song for like $35 or something, you know, whatever.
I call him the unsung hero of early New York.
He's sung.
He's sung, but
he did the Antidote record, and he did a lot, and he was with the Bad Brains. He engineered the Bad Brains Roar tape. He engineered.
Yeah.
That.
Yep.
Jumperman Issues slept on the floor of 171A.
Really?
In sleeping bags when we played with Bad Brains at CB's. Yes. So I saw the booth that Jerry made at.
There he is.
There's Jerry.
Yeah, he was a kind soul, man.
Oh man, he was. Did he have a? No, there was not a evil bone in his body.
Yeah,
a real sweet guy. He really was.
What is it's Lars says, did I miss any Black Pond recording stories?
Black Pond used to be called Catch a Buzz Studios because it was owned by, Washington D.C. had a prog rock scene in the late 70s.
I did not know this.
Now you do, because I'm telling you, the lead band was the Muffins. They were the kings of the
Muffins.
Rock Hill, and their clarinet player or whatever owned Catch a Buzz.
Right.
And I think he might have been stoned, but anyway, he recorded Make an Effort, right? And he recorded Artificial Peace Second Session, there, which is on a few bootleg records.
Artificial Peace, which later morphed into Marginal Man, correct?
Yeah.
I saw Artificial Peace open for the Bad Brains at the Peppermint Lounge.
Cool.
Yeah.
They didn't play a lot of out of town shows.
I saw that. I remember them. Artificial
Still
Peace.
in high school, so they didn't really get out.
So let's follow the timeline a little bit. You guys were incredibly proficient in the late 80s. Give Us Stab or Give Us Death, The Fun Just Never Ends, You, Crash. Could you paint the picture? Why did it sort of wind down in '89?
Why?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of reasons. One, we felt like musically we were going in different directions. Each of us wanted something else out of the band.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what we should sound like, right?
Yeah.
And also we were in the U.S. We weren't getting any. We were unliked. We weren't getting anywhere. We weren't. You know, we expected to be. You know.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to wait around till 1991 for all the. And that's when all the bands got signed.
Right.
In '91, when Nirvana got big, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you waited around till then, you know, but at that time we were playing universities and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, so it wasn't, you know, we were doing okay, but we didn't want to go out to Cleveland to play for $300 and things like that. So
yeah,
it was we're just over it. We were just over it.
Was it a sort of a popular census? Like, let's just wind it down. When
at rehearsal, we just, you know, we were talking about doing a Midwest tour because, you know, because we were just sitting around, like,
yeah.
you know, and we're like, what are we going to do now? We say, well, we'll do a little Midwest tour. We're trying to get it together, and it wasn't coming together. And we're just saying, you want to call it quits, guys? And everybody said, yep. And we all went our separate ways. And that was
right.
it was that's the way it was, really. It wasn't, we didn't have to notify the press or anything because no one cared. Because no one cared. And we set up our last show at the 9:30 Club. Everybody was like, yay. And I was in a really bad mood.
Yeah.
So when I played that show, I was such a dick. I really would like to do that show over again. Yeah. Well, I was such a curmudgeon. But, you know, because everybody's celebrating and everything. I'm like, well, we're breaking up, man. What's so fun about that, you know? So that was it.
And when I know
but before that, you know, there was a lot happening.
Yeah.
You know?
I know during the band, you and John did Glee Club, correct?
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about Glee Club?
That is, if anybody wants that record, it's up for you can get it for $1, a digital copy on our Bandcamp page. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to find, and that's me and Stab. Mm-hmm. We were always on tour or recording, right? But Mitch Parker, our bass player that's on Boycott Stab, had just quit, and we were getting ready to go on our tour for the summer in '83, which we did a U.S. tour, full U.S. tour. Right. And we got a temporary basis for that in Rob Moss, you know, a touring bass player, right? So we went into the studio and paid for ourselves. And I pretty much played, it's not hardcore, it's avant-garde. What genre is it? I'll ask you, Drew. What genre is it?
I'd say it's different. It's got hardcore. It's got like it comes from a hardcore.
There's no distorted guitar on it.
No. But
there's no distorted guitar. It's avant-garde, I guess.
You guys were ahead of the curve, man.
It was just us puking music.
You were proficient. You know? You had a lot of stuff. You know, I like, you know, the stuff that John did afterwards, the factory incident, you know, that stuff, I like that stuff too, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's not hardcore, it's not punk, it's not, I don't know what it is, you know. They got to make up no genre names. But I don't know where you would put Glee Club other in Amoeba Records in San Francisco. There's a section called Unusual Music.
Is that right?
Yes.
Unusual
genre called Unusual Music.
Of course.
And that's where Glee Club would be in.
All right.
You know, if it's influenced by anybody, it's influenced by birthday party, PIL,
Yeah.
and garbage trucks that bring the cart, the bins up above. Yeah. Okay.
Got it. Sure.
It's just bin stab. I played all the instruments, and he did all the vocals and made up the lyrics, and it's done on an 8-track. And that's it. And
Yeah, Larry Kelly says pre-quicksand. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, it's
okay. All right.
It's true. So the band goes on hiatus. The CD age comes in. Could you give us the background on the 2 double CDs that sort of covered the whole catalog? I mean,
all right. Well, we signed with Dr. Strange Records after we break up. In the 90s, I guess, in the early aughts, or I don't even remember. And said, well, when will you reissue all your records on CD? And I'm like, oh God, what a chore. That's a lot of work, man. So I said, well, I'll just go into the studio and I'll just assemble all the stuff on 2 double CDs, because every record's like 15 minutes or whatever, except for
you got 80 minutes on a CD.
Right, there you go. So they're divided in 2. The first half is the early stuff.
Got it.
And then this second half is that's when the very talented Jay Robbins and Pete Moffat were the rhythm section. But there's still some bonus cuts on it that, that including the last 2 songs that we wrote that never got recorded, that were recorded at University of Pennsylvania's clubhouse, the Scorpion or something like that. Because we were touring university. We played Princeton, we played University of Pennsylvania.
You were doing the college circuit. You and REM.
And the money was good and everything, but whatever. We just couldn't do that forever, man.
Yeah.
It was just getting silly, man.
And the early stuff like Legless Bull, the Discord stuff is not included on those 2 on either of those.
CDs. It's only Legless Bull is the only thing that's left off, because you can get that at Discord.
Yes.
That never went out of print because it's on the Force. When it was on record, it was 4 old 7 inches from '81.
Yeah.
And then it's expanded when it came out on CD. Right?
And then it was the couple of tracks on Flex Your Head that were pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff says those 2 double CDs should be in everyone's music collection.
Yeah.
Those things, it's like an epic volume 1.
I don't
epic
know,
volume.
but the volume 1, 2 CDs with 80 songs on it or whatever it is. If you can listen to that in one sitting.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I think you'll have to be institutionalized after that.
Absolutely.
So take it in small bites, But it's a good value, I guess you could say.
So the band sort of goes on hiatus, but there was a couple of times that you guys pulled it back together. One of them that comes to mind, I know John unfortunately got hurt at some point, and you guys pulled it together in 2007 to play again for his benefit. What was the background on that?
That was let's play a show. I'll make the curtains. No, their dad will make the stage. But anyway, we played at a small place. We needed to raise money because John Stab was mugged. And the insurance said that any facial surgery was cosmetic. It's like, the guy broke his jaw, man. So what are you gonna do?
He got mugged where he lives in his neighborhood, right?
In suburban Maryland, yeah.
Jeez, that's scary.
Anyway, so we could. So Brian Baker played bass.
Nice.
Thank you, Brian. If you don't know who he was in Minor Threat and Dag Nasty and a few other bands.
Of course.
And that was very nice of him. And I played guitar. John sung, and William Knapp from 76% Uncertain, Bill Knapp, played drums. He came down from Connecticut just to do that show.
Wow.
And he learned the set in sound check. So it was a little loose, but it was actually pretty good. People liked it, and we raised some money for John. The next benefit after that wasn't until like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And that was a benefit again for our friend who had brain surgery. And the copay was like $10,000 or something ridiculous, you know. So our friend, so we did that for Steve, or Stereo Dave. Well, anyway, so we did that, and that was with what lineup was that? I don't remember. God damn it! It was just GI. I think it was me. It was with Pete and Jay. It was, we learned the set. I came down to DC for about a week and we rehearsed. That was fun. And then the next one was a benefit for the, not a benefit, but just like more like a party, because they already raised all the money for the movie Salad Days.
And you were still playing at that point?
We did the CBGB February 1982 set.
Oh wow.
With
That's
Brian
cool.
Baker on guitar, me on bass.
That's cool.
But the drummer was from Dag Nasty. What's his name? It's late. What, the drummer from Dag Nasty? Come on, Tom. I'm having tip of the tongue problems. I can pull out the record. I can look it up. And we played our set from. It was just so. It was the best one out of all the reunions because it was just so much fun. John, like, wrote.
Are you talking about Colin Sears?
Colin Sears.
Colin
so
Sears.
Sorry, Colin.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Colin, for doing that show. And
Yeah.
he learned that at the sound check too. But no, he didn't. We did it by phone and internet. You know.
Really?
Yeah, because he lived in Seattle.
Ah,
So, you know,
sure.
or Portland or whatever. You know.
Sure,
Portland,
sure.
I think. So so thank you, Colin, for doing that. And that way, but it was so, John wrote like a script for it. It wasn't a script, but he kind of just like wrote notes all over the sound check for what he said between the songs. Because it's on a tape, which you can download and or listen to on our Bandcamp page, which is February 5th, 1982 or something like that. The show that we played with the Bad Brains. But I taped the show. And
wow.
So I still have that.
Let's do this set list again.
Yeah, so we did the set list.
Cool.
We added a couple of more songs because you know, we were supporting the Bad Brains. You know, we didn't play for an hour. Played for what, 15 minutes? It was a set of CBs for support band.
Jeff Terranova says, I guess, and he's referring to that first reunion benefit show. Such a fun show. My band No Image played. Brian Baker played Through My Bass Amp. Rest in peace, Bill Knapp and John Stab. Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there were some support bands at the very first 2007 show, I think you said. And wow, what a great night. There were some good bands. Yeah, some very talented people in DC, I swear to God. When
I know the last time, or it was the last couple of times Government Issue played, you didn't play with them? Did you just
They did a tour in John Barry, who's on Legless Bull, played guitar. I mean, what the fuck? I'm not gonna go for it, man.
Yeah, have a day.
Right? Have a good time.
Yeah,
they
have a
played
day.
the Rock. What's the name of that? Hellfest or whatever it is in the Midwest, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but they played a few other shows too.
Yeah,
for 4 people or whatever. But you know, I was not in the mood to go on the road.
Yeah,
I'm not getting in the van. Put it that way.
Yes,
So they did that. I'm not going on. I'll play shows, but I'm not going to go on tour.
Yeah,
you know.
I hear you.
So whatever. Anyway, but John Barry did it, and that's just so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great.
And they played songs of a Legless Bull, and they played some later songs too. And,
things kind of go full circle, right?
Yeah, don't they? Sometimes.
Yeah. Let's. I got to take another break in a bit, but I just want to touch on this before the break, and that's your collection and just sort of the magnitude of it. And you know, is there any?
I've done full interviews about just the collection. All right.
Right.
And in those, I'll just cut to the quick and tell you the ending. I'm not a record collector. I collect records, but I'm not a record collector. I don't have
Right.
5 copies of one
Yeah,
album,
yeah.
all different color vinyls, and or
Sure.
this one from every country. I have one of each.
Yep.
And all I want is the best sounding one, not the best, not the rarest one, the best sounding one.
Right.
And a lot of times that's Japanese. So I have a lot of Japanese LPs. But do you have any questions about the collection? But
You know, I was
another thing also, the reason why there's so many is because I started making it when I was 12.
right.
And a lot of people have stories about how they lost their records and this, or
Yeah.
they had to sell them because of this to pay rent, or
Not
I've never
you.
done that. I've never done that.
Right.
Oh, I'm just lucky. That's luck, right?
Yeah.
That's just luck. And during the 90s was awesome because that's when everybody wanted to buy CDs and replace their collection. So they give me their old records.
Sure.
So I get a box of 100 of
I
them.
did it. I did it too, bro. I was like,
No,
I gave it to my
but
friend Philip Weeds. I was like, bro, here you go. I gave him I had the reggae record, everything.
Right, right. But I was the beneficiary. And also I'd go on
You're that guy.
I'd go on eBay and buy records from Japan and stuff, and the postage would cost more because I'd win auctions for 99 cents.
Sure.
You know, for a record that now is like $150 or whatever it is, right?
Sure.
But I lived through that too. So it ends up being a large collection after that. Right?
This isn't a fair question, but why not? Is that beautiful vinyl collection a treasure trove of punk and hardcore, or does it go much further?
It goes much further.
I know it goes much further.
Much further.
And which records would you grab and run if the fire alarm went off?
I already told you. I said that. Did you see the movie? I'm having that tip of the tongue thing again. It's a senior moment, right?
Give me a clue. What movie? Who's in it?
Everybody. Everyone who collects records.
Oh, that thing that with
This. What's it called?
Dust This Off, or what was that?
Yes, right. And
Something
I
like
said
that,
the same thing that Brian Baker said. It's the minor threat out of step test pressing. That's the one we'd run. That, and I have the test pressing for that Black Market Baby album that he put up. I have the testing for that. I would run with that too, and a copy of that too. That's a hard record to find.
Yeah.
You know, putting that thing up on the screen was cruel because everybody's gonna be searching for it and they're going, "How much? $300?" I'm like,
I saw it on. I just saw a copy of SSD Controller. The kids will have that set. Just went for $1,000.
yeah, screw that, man. Screw that. Buy the reissue. It's fine.
Yeah.
But,
Listen to it on Spotify.
Right. Every
You know.
record ever made is on Spotify. So.
Yeah. I'm a spot. You know, that's how.
But the interview I did is it's in print. It's no, and it's online. No echo.
Yeah.
I did a interview with them about the record collection.
I read it doing my homework for this show.
Yeah, and they laughed at me, ha 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 ha, because they say I'm not a record collector.
Right. Yeah, got it. Hey, let me take my last sponsor break, and we'll come back and we'll take some questions from around the world. Okay. See you in a minute. That's right. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by our guest today is our old friend Tom Lyle from Government Issue. Get your questions together. Guitar stuff, record stuff, DC hard. Post them up. Let's go. We're sponsored by New York Hardcore, New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, and the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rolle, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information on online sales will be taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Last but not least, come on now, Devin. DTFM Vinyl Distro is a record store that specializes in underground music, punk, ska, hardcore, metal, and more. Located in the heart of Fargo, North Dakota's industrial district, Shop in person or online at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com, where the motto is death to false metal. We went through everything pretty much, you know. There's a what else? No, we're good, man. We pretty much went through everything. There is no show on Sunday. There's no show Wednesday, and there's no show Sunday. We'll be back with We'll be back with Gary Bennett on Wednesday, November 16th. All right. Gary Bennett, Chris Foley, Brooke Smith, R.B. Corbett, John Monty, David Godless, Frank White, and Alan Tecchio, all coming down the line, coming down the mountain. That said, let's bring our guest, Tom Lyle, back. Please, questions, post. Don't be shy. Let them fly. Tom Lyle.
You said you were going to ask me about, we left out a big chunk of later stuff.
Okay.
Joyride.
Yes.
Never Ends, the 5th album.
Okay.
And then
Good.
The You album, a lot of people like, but it's, kind of post-hardcore, I guess you'd call it. And
that's safe to say. And Crash.
Yeah, Crash after that, the last one.
Any of those records you hold very near and dear for any particular any reason? Joyride, yeah.
Because it's a
people love that record, man.
Because I like it too. It was it was luck too, but I wrote many of the songs on that. There's a few covers, right? There's a GI cover,
right?
Hall of Fame, and the Nancy Sinatra pen. She didn't write it, but she sung it. These boots are made for walking.
Is that in that clip I played in the beginning? He said Nancy Sinatra threatened to sue us.
No, she didn't. She didn't.
All right.
We weren't. We wish she did.
We
Put it
wish
that way, right?
We wish we got that kind of attention.
Right, but
right.
She did not know us from.
Yeah. I gotta just before we get into a couple questions. I got a guitar and a gear question here. This is a Kramer you're playing here?
Yeah, Kramer Pacer. This was Brian Baker's guitar on the Meatman album, More of the Superbikes. That's who he played. There's even a picture of it on the back of the album.
Was it his guitar or yours?
His guitar. No, it was his guitar.
Right.
And he said he sold it to me because I still have the Gibson SG. It's always going out of tune.
Right.
I was sick of having between songs, every song having to retune. And this one has a Floyd Rose on it. So,
that sucker's just
locking nut and everything.
Just locked into place.
To go out of tune, you had to pour a pitcher of beer on it or something. Then it would go out of tune. But otherwise,
and what is, I can't make out what this is. I see.
That's my SG. I have it right here. It's a
with the tremolo.
Yeah, Bigsby tone arm. That's on Boycott Stab and Joyride.
Got it.
And Joyride.
The SG with the tremolo.
With the Bigsby tremolo.
Bigsby tremolo.
That's why I went out of tune all the time.
Yeah.
That thing's a piece of design by a high school student or something. But that guitar, man, when it's in tune, it sounds really good. I mean,
Michael asks, is that a 72?
1972. That's right. Bing, bing, bing.
Wow. Well done, Michael.
Very good.
Yeah.
72 SG Deluxe or Special, one of the two.
I think Frank Zappa played a similar guitar.
Nah, it was an SG, but it wasn't similar.
Okay.
It was an SG.
Okay. In the ballpark.
Yeah.
How about Walter White asks, how did you end up working with the band Pentagram as executive producer on their eponymous album, as well as covering the song Day of Reckoning.
Okay, Pentagram, I love Pentagram. I saw Pentagram. That the album, if you're familiar with Pentagram, there's an album called Keg Full of Dynamite, which is live at the Keg. And I was at that show. I just wandered in, and there was this band called Pentagram playing. Boom. And I said, I honor you. And that was a 2-guitar lineup. I was still a kid. But in DC, the drinking age was still 18 back then, which meant there was no drinking age. They just let,
anybody that wanted to drink could drink.
Yes, they just want, you pay for a drink, you're in. So I saw Pentagram, and I just loved them so much. And then I got to know Bobby Liebling, because in DC is a small town. Everybody kind of knew each other.
Sure.
So and the goal of all those metal bands playing was to get signed. We want to get signed. That's, you play till you get signed, right? But this was 1984, 85. They're not signing Pentagram. No way. And he came over my house where we were living, the GI house. It was a group house.
Right.
And he was Stab and I and the bass player, Mitch. We all lived in one house. And I show him a stack of records that me and my friends put out, right? And I said, this is how you make a record, right? So I hooked him up with Dutch East India, and they pressed the record. And he said, well, we want to put you on the record as, what's your credit? And I said, executive producer, because I don't know what an executive producer is, and you don't know what an executive producer is either. So I figured that's a good title.
That's a good way.
But Bobby and I are still friends on the internet, but I don't talk to him that much because he's got an evil seed or something. I don't know what it is, but he's a very talented guy, but evil seed though.
Hey, Mike Gitter, what's up, man? Good to see you. What's happening, Gitter?
Hi, Mike. How you doing, Mike? Mike was our roadie at one time, and he was the head of Giant Records.
Yeah.
So, Mike. Yeah. I don't know why he's not here in my house right now. And listen to records and hang out anytime.
Another old friend and big supporter of the show.
Right.
Pat Baldwin says, over a decade, GI defined the hardcore orthodoxy. Any standout memories of John handling tough crowds who weren't into the band's ever evolving sound?
When I first read that, I'm thinking, no, but John could handle skinheads showing up at the shows, and those were they didn't like our sound because they didn't like themselves, man. They had daddy issues or something, man, that made them say Sieg Heil to the band that's playing on stage, and we'd stop and we'd say, whatever. And Sab was very good at handling them.
Yeah, he was good freestyling from the stage.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he.
Yes, he was. And I know you might have not understood what he was saying, but there was a reason why he was saying it. And there was blah blah blah. And
he would sort of take it, spin it, and throw it back at you.
Right.
Know?
But our sound, nobody ever, because we did whatever we wanted. That's what was so cool about being a band in the 80s that wasn't signed to Warner Brothers or whatever and didn't have management telling us what to do, blah, blah, blah. We just did what we wanted. I wrote the songs and Stan wrote the lyrics, and let's put on a show, and we'll play at the VFW Hall, and all our friends will show up. And
right on.
Right.
Damian Weber asked, was there a van crash on tour in the UK back in the day?
Yes, there was. In March of '88, our van flipped over.
Ooh.
And that, if I can think of one of the worst days of my life, that would be up there, man. That would be up there. Our drummer broke his leg.
Oh, my God.
End of tour.
Oh.
Done.
Wow.
We played some good shows before that, though. We had a good time before that. But the
And
end
when
of
you
it,
when the drummer breaks a leg, it's over.
it's over. And we
Yeah.
gave all, we had made some money on the tour and everything. We just gave it all away, and to be treated by this and that and blah blah blah. And it was very uncool, man. There was nothing good
Scary.
about it.
That's
Nothing
scary.
good about it. I do not
Yeah.
recommend it.
Yeah.
Don't flip your van.
Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace, Cliff Burton. Right. Exactly. That was a bus, but still.
Still,
Yeah.
we could have died.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Jay Robbins says a lot of times. He goes, government issue.
Yeah, that was the Gitter says that was the event that inspired the song Crash.
No, it wasn't.
Jay's first vocal performance.
Yeah, that was about the J.G. Ballard book, Crash.
Oh, okay.
About the crash.
I got
Sorry.
it.
Sorry.
Yep. No problem. Jeff says I saw government issue at the Anthrax in Norwalk. There was maybe 40 people there, and you played for 2 hours. Fantastic.
I don't, the 40 people thing. No, that wasn't that. It was more than 40 people there, but you might have known 40 people
in the audience.
Audience, but and we might have at the end when we're playing for 2 hours, everybody left. And there were 40 people left. I believe that, but us playing for 2 hours, I guess that could happen. I don't think it was that long, but.
RS70 asks, what was the first live show you went to? What was like the first live music you ever saw?
I told you, Slade.
That was the
Top. It was a double bill, Slade and ZZ Top.
Got it.
At the Calderone Concert Hall in Hempstead, Long Island.
Wow.
Where,
Wow.
That's where
Motorhead played there at one point.
Yeah. Public Images from that. Not Public Image. Public Enemy is from that town. They call that the Black Belt of Long Island. Hempstead.
I was in Huntington last night.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, the Calderone. I saw Gentle Giant there too.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, right?
I saw the Jerry Garcia band there.
I'm so sorry.
The Calderone.
Yeah.
They used to call it the Calderone armpit. It was just
there was
no frills.
They didn't clean the place. I don't think they cleaned up the place. I don't really think they had what they're called. No one. There was no maintenance crew.
Motorhead played there on that 85 tour with Brian Robertson from Thin Lizzy on guitar. And people still say it was the loudest thing they ever heard.
Yeah, well, that was the one of my favorite albums.
I love that record.
Oh man,
Another Perfect Day.
No, is that what it is? No, that's not my favorite Motorhead album.
Yeah, I love that record. That's my favorite.
There's not many Motorhead records I don't like, put it that way. So.
This is a great question.
Right.
Great question, because I had it in my notes and I skipped over it. This is great, and I love you tell the story. How did Stab pick the name for his? How did John Stab get the Stab name? I love this story. Good question.
Good question. Ian MacKaye, you might have heard of him. He runs Discord Records with his friend Jeff. It's a small label.
Right.
They put out some good records though. But anyway, he'd be big on nicknames for people. Like Chris Bald. Chris Bald from The Faith? He had shaved his head, right? And he was bald. So he called him Chris Bald.
Got it.
Right? John Stab's first band before Government Issue was The Stab. That's T-A-B. The Stab, right? Punk band. He played drums, actually. Stab played drums. And Ian MacKaye called him Stab, right? And John put the other B on there because, that way when you Google it, it doesn't get mixed up with Stab, right? No, this was 1980, so there's no Google. Anyway, kids.
It's like back then, it was like Nancy Mohawk or like,
A lot of people in D.C. were named by Ian MacKaye, or at least their punk name. Like Mr. and Mrs. Shithead, son is in politics now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't use his real name.
And then I remember it was like with the two B's, people say, no, it's not stab, it's stab. Like it's
Oh.
like some sort of French. It's like some foreign. It's stab. It's not stab.
I'm glad I cleared that up then.
Fucking John Stab, like you fucking
That's it, man.
stab.
But it's
You
punk
know?
rock. Man, punk rock.
Christ Almighty. Unbelievable. What else?
Good question. That's it.
Who got more girls, ZZ Top or Slade? I'd say Slade.
I always think they were from Brit. They were English.
Yeah, ZZ Top. I don't picture ZZ Top as like a chick magnet kind of band.
Well, they didn't have the beards back then.
Ah, right. And I love how the drummer's name was Frank Beard. You know,
but they didn't have beards back then when I saw them.
Any hip hop or rap in that record collection?
Not much.
Not much.
Some, but not much.
Okay, fair enough. What is this item here? I am not familiar with this particular item, this particular release.
That's a video.
It's a live video.
Yes.
Okay.
There's some good shows on there. There's Love Hall in Philadelphia with Mike Fellows on bass.
Okay.
There's our first show my first show at Wilson Center, and my debut show on guitar, pretty much, on June of '82, right, at Wilson Center, and then a show with our last lineup that was recorded in early '89.
Wow.
At Penn State. The Scorpion was the name of the club, but it was just
so it's a video compilation that was put out on VHS.
No, it's on DVD, man.
It's on DVD.
VHS. What's a VHS?
Got it. Got it.
No, but there is a VHS. There was a VHS that Flipside put out.
Okay.
Now on CD, of course, which has our two shows in LA on it. That I talked about. The Olympic Auditorium and the Fender's Ballroom are both on that, and they're pretty good. It's 1985, and I'm playing through a Marshall half stack. It sounds pretty good.
I think this is that reunion. Is this?
Yes, that's the reunion of.
Right.
That's Brian Baker. It's kind of blurry, right?
I see. Yeah, I see. Yep.
And that's William Knapp on the right.
And that's the drummer from 76% Uncertain.
Yes, he died last year. Right?
Yes, I remember him.
And John Stab with his, is that fuchsia? The color of?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Fuchsia.
Lime green, we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
But John Stab, all right? John Stab. But that's the show.
He was always a snappy dresser that night.
Yes, he was.
Our good friend and supporter Larry Kelly asks.
These are all good questions so far.
Yeah. We got a good audience worldwide. Favorite band you played with? Is there somebody that when you were out there?
Crucifix. Definitely Crucifix.
Really?
I can't think of it. I can't think of a favorite band I played with. They just popped up in the top of my head. But we played 3 shows with Crucifix. Yeah. But whatever.
Was there anybody in like
played with every band? But that's what's cool. And that's
what I'm getting at. During the like,
you'd have to I can't make a list of all the bands we played with. I can make a list of all the bands we didn't play with.
Right.
Which is a lot easier.
But was there during you or Crash? Was there any like? We did like 5 shows with like Nirvana.
No. But I can, again, for the 80s, the hardcore stuff, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't many bands we did not play with.
Yeah.
I mean, you play for 9 years. You're on tour for 9 years.
Right.
You're going to play with a lot of bands.
Yeah.
We didn't play with a lot of British bands, but we played with some early, when our tours in the UK, we played with some early, we played with like Napalm Death and with, oh God, I can't, we didn't play with Napalm Death. We stayed at their house. They played the night show.
Well, what we really need is the house. We don't necessarily need to play.
It was the first time I ever saw a thermostat that you put coins in.
Oh yeah, in the
for the heating. Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw one.
Yeah,
But we played with, what's the name of the band? Well, anyway, we played with a couple of those up and coming.
Sort of reminds me of that whole
know,
thing, like when you go to Europe the first time and like you got to put money to get into the bathroom or to go, and it's like, what if you don't have money? Like, what do you do? Not go to the bathroom? Like, just like that always, like, if you don't have money, you can't take a crap. Like,
well, not
gonna,
you can take a crap.
You could go do it. You could go around the building.
Can't do it there.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The exploited. Oof. Yeah.
Exploited. No, we didn't play with them. Or we didn't play with Rand. I think that was later on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were good bands, right?
Yeah.
But they've already figured by the time Rancid and Exploded came out and everything, the formula was already written. You know what I mean? The script was already there for them.
Funny, this question comes up again from someone else. Is your record collection sorted by genre or all alphabetized?
Both.
That makes sense.
Sorted by genre.
Right.
And then alphabetized within the genre.
Sure.
There's not that many genres. Yeah, there is. There's a lot of genres, but not that many, I guess.
Favorite Jimi Hendrix record?
No. No, I don't have a favorite Jimi Hendrix record.
No, they're all great.
I like the Equal Opportunity guitar player. Yeah. And he could, like, if he was a singer, I'd say he could read the phone book, and I'd listen to him. If he was playing guitar, it's a good record.
We just played out in Seattle, and the first thing we did when we got off the plane was went straight to visit his memorial.
Of course you did.
Yeah, it was cool.
Great. I've never seen it, but I know. At first, there was some good stuff going on in Seattle for him, but they ran out of money.
Yeah.
All about money, right?
Pretty much. Well, listen, I think that brings us to the end of our journey. Want to thank you for coming on the show. It was a lot of fun. It was to sort of take a waltz down there. Is there anybody you want to thank or shout out or
no? You couldn't have done it without me. So no, I'm only kidding. I'd like to thank everybody for spending the time with me. If you didn't see the show, and if you've never heard our band, I recommend you pick up the Joyride record. And they're all everything's being re-released on vinyl. We've got up to
is that right?
Yes, right now it's up to, we're waiting now. You and Crash are the next two. Right, I shouldn't touch this thing that's holding the video. You and Crash, but they're held up at the pressing plant, right?
Yeah, you and everybody else, right? Right.
So, but so far, all Joyride, The Fun Just Never Ends, Boycott Stab, it's on Discord, and the fifth self-titled album are all released on vinyl, so you can find them all. And
who puts out these re-releases?
Dr. Strange Records in Alta Loma, California, which I have visited once before, and so it does.
Who put out the infamous double CDs?
Yes, like Generation. Dr. Strange Records has a huge record store in Alta Loma, California, and it's all punk, no waiting.
It's great that you still have a relationship with them all these years later.
What, Dr. Strange?
Yeah.
No, they do live videos every week on Facebook and they sell records. They show them and they sell records. The owner, Bill Plaster, is punk rock 24/7, and he owns the greatest record store on the planet besides Generation, of course. And they're nothing, no complaints.
Yeah,
no complaints.
Our friend Larry Kelly says, Tom, always been a huge Government Issue fan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But if no one listened or liked our stuff, we wouldn't be talking right now. So thank you very, very much.
That's right.
That's who I like to thank. That's who I like to thank. Now that you mentioned it.
So yeah. Social. Someone's asking social media. You could reach out to Tom on Instagram at Tom Lyle at Tom Lyle 807.
And I post there just about every day. I take the time.
That's where it's happening.
And also our Bandcamp page, where you can listen to the John Stab give advice to the masses. Long may he live. You know, he'll live forever because he's going to be on our devices. I can't put it in when you go to Bandcamp, it's all digital. So
his art shall live on.
But the concerts are a gas. You know, all of them, every single one. They start out from the early CB shows, and Yugoslavia's on there too. So enjoy.
Here's the last one I didn't share as we talk about John Stab from that.
There you go. That's what drew me to hardcore.
Yeah,
is the erasure of the division between band and audience.
Absolutely.
Right? So many pictures we have, you can't tell whether it's on the stage or in the audience, right? Because there's no dividing line. And that's what drew me to it. Like, you can go see a band and then talk to the band after the show or before the show or whatever, right? There's no buddy backstage with their, big guy with there's none of that, right? And that's what drew me to hardcore. That's how I met John. At the 930 Club, Minor Threat, GI, and Youth Brigade.
Wow.
The show, and it's the first time I ever heard GI or Minor Threat or Youth Brigade through a really good sound system.
It can be done.
And I said, "Oh, Jesus Christ, man!" I was like, "These guys can play, right? Minor Threat? What, are you kidding me?" It wasn't noise or anything, They knew how to play their instruments really well, I thought. And you can sit on the stage while they're playing. You get smashed, but you could, right?
But there was no division there.
Right, but there was no, go sing. He'll hold the mic for you while you sing a verse, right?
It's what brought.
You can stay on your feet, right?
That's what brought me in. Gary says, "Great show. I could ask a million questions about those records. I'm reading the No Echo thing now. It's a very good interview. If you're out there and you want to read a great interview with Tom Lyle,
there's two of them. There's one about the band, all right? And then there's one about records.
There you go.
Which No Echo. That's really No Echo.
There you go. All right, Tom. I will talk to you soon. Take care, man.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Great show. Great guest. Great guest today. That was great. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. Marla. It was a great show. Everybody else, fantastic. Great show. It's what we do. We do great shows. What can I tell you? Drew, you're the gorilla's balls. Keep it swinging and sweating. Jesus. Good Lord. I'm the gorilla's balls. I'm not sure. All right. Thank you. Hey. Yeah, Marla, it was good. Good show. Pepe, yeah, man. Great show. Thank you. It was good. Hey, Joe Frank. Sunday, shout out day, I'm heading to Scottsdale, Arizona tomorrow for 5 days. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to see a couple friends out there, including Roger Moret from Agnostic Front, probably, and Larry, Brooklyn Larry, who manages Sick of It All, and a couple other people. And I'll be back next weekend in New York for Rampage Fest. Then I'm heading down to Florida to see the one and the only. What's the next couple of shows? We did this shit like 6 times already on this show. The next show is Gary Bennett. And it's actually the longest we're going without doing a show. It's a week from Wednesdays, Gary Bennett, Kill Your Idols, Sheer Terror, Death Cycle. Then, of course, Chris Foley from SSD Control. Brooke Smith has a new book out. R.B. Corbett from Even Worse. and the Bush Tetras, John Monty from MOD and Ministry, David Godless just announced. I got to put this out on social media, and then Frank White and Alan Tecchio have the Jersey Metal book. So, there's a lot going on. We're not going anywhere. Yes, thank you. Well done, clap. Your research is, thank again. Yeah, I can research the shows and I could take the time to do the shows right because you support the show. That's how it works. I couldn't do it without your support. So if you're out there and you're enjoying the show and you want to support the show, please. There's a Patreon page. There's a PayPal address. Please support the show so I can continue to do great shows. The Jersey Metal show is going to be good. The book's really good. I got to say, the Jersey Metal book is really good. You know what? Funny you should say that about this hat, because this hat was deep in the closet, and I wore the other hat for Halloween, and I came across this one right before the show. There's 3 guys. Here we go. 3 guys that can rock this hat and get away with it. One of them is Popeye Doyle from the French Connection. Name the other 2 who have rocked this hat in film and on TV. That's who else gets away with this look, with this hat? Let's hear it. Popeye Doyle is one of them, yes. Anybody else? Can anybody else comment on this? Well, Drew Stone, not counting me. Jimmy G? Did Jimmy G rock one of these? De Niro and Mean Streets? Okay. Ian, close. Sinatra? All right, here you go. All right. Kojak. I'm enjoying this. Boy George? God. Kojak? Evan Seinfeld. Close. Back in the day. Yeah. Well, Gene Hackman, we got that. All right. I'll put it out there. Rocky Balboa is wearing one in Rocky. And my all-time favorite, Ed Norton from The Honeymooners. Ed Norton rocks it on The Honeymooners. So there you go. That's Frankie Adonis, bro. That's one of my dad's guys. Hope you're doing well in London, John. That said, Heisenberg, right? Good one. Heisenberg, right. What's the next movie? I can't really talk about the next movie. It should have been announced already, but I'm not really at liberty to talk about the next movie. The one I finished is screening. The Jews and the Blues is screening, doing the festival circuit, gearing up for the next film, but I'm not at liberty to talk about it yet. So we'll see what happens. Can't talk about it. That said, thanks a lot, everybody, for stopping by. This was the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We will see you down the road. Until then, do good things, and good things will come to you.